Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, an apartment in Monaco just sold for $554 million.
I'm Tony Kornheiser. I don't get there often, but I'm hoping to Airbnb it. What do you think?
That's good.
What do you think?
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. I'll be one of your clients.
Yeah.
I expect to break a discount, though.
Oh, yeah. I'd give it to you for like $65,000 an evening. Yeah, because I got to make back all this money. That's a lot of money there. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Lakers win again, the Celtics lose, and Booger McFarland joins us to preview tomorrow's first round of the NFL draft. But we begin today with Victor Wembanyama sustaining a concussion last night in the second quarter of San Antonio's eventual home loss to Portland when he fell under the basket and hit his head on the floor. Wembanyama left the game and did not return. Under the conditions of the NBA concussion protocol, Wembanyama could be eligible to play Game 3 in Portland on Friday. Wilbon, what could Wembanyama's concussion mean for him, for the Spurs, and for the NBA?
Tony, there's a worst-case scenario where he misses so much time in this series that San Antonio is so adversely affected they don't advance, and you're missing the most seductive character in the NBA today and world basketball today, and maybe all of sport in Victor Wembanyama, and you don't get to see that all spring, and that would mean doom for the team, the league, the network partners, everybody who wants to see this kid, this phenom. So that's the worst case scenario. I don't see any way. We don't know yet. I don't see any way he plays on Friday in Portland. We don't even know if he can fly there, if he'd be allowed. Sunday in Portland, don't know. But, San Antonio's got to rely on other players. They don't have much in the way of vets. They got De'Aaron Fox and Harrison Barnes, and away we go, a bunch of youngsters who could be shaky in a situation where they go to Portland, which is a particularly difficult place to play. And they got to win a game. They got to come back 2-2. They can't afford to go back to San Antonio down 3-1. So it could mean all those things. But, wow, it was a jolt to watch it last night. And you just hope that Victor Wembanyama feels okay and recovers as quickly as possible.
I'm a doctor, as you know, but not that kind of doctor, so I'm going to resist making any medical analysis here. I have read what has been printed about the protocol in the NBA, and it is possible that he could play in 72 hours because the restriction is 48 hours. They say that you have to sit quietly, not do anything for 24 hours. Then you can be examined. You can be given light things to do. That's the 48-hour window, but there's no restriction after that if you are judged to be making progress. So it's conceivable to me by the letter of the law that he could play. But like you, I don't think he's going to play. I think people are going to be cautious, and I think they should be cautious. The important thing here is his long-term health, as it is with any concussion victim at that point. And Mike, we have seen in football, I won't go too long here. I will say two things. One is that San Antonio had a 2-1 edge in the regular season on Portland this year, and Wembanyama didn't play in any of those games. So they can beat Portland without Wembanyama. The second thing is we have seen in football people come back from concussions on a regular basis without a diminution of skill at all. We accept this in football. Basketball, we don't associate the word concussion with basketball. No. So it's a little more scary, I believe, because it happened in basketball. And again, what you worry most with Wembanyama is he's physically different than everybody else. How do you keep him healthy? So I think they'll be very cautious in this. I agree with you.
I do too. I agree with you. But he's not going to get, hit as many times as a running back or a wide receiver or a tight end or a lineman coming back from a concussion. Right. So I'm hopeful, but that's cautiously hopeful.
Right. It could just be an asterisk on his career. That's all it could be, an asterisk at the end of his career. This happened. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
Possible.
Let's hope that that's it. Yeah. We did have other NBA playoff games of note last night. The Lakers are now up 2-0 on the Rockets, despite the absences of Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. LeBron was out there reverse dunking on folk, and Marcus Smart had 25. In the East, Sixers rookie VJ Edgecombe dropped 30, grabbed 10 rebounds, and had one wink on the Celtics, offered them one to even that series at one game apiece. Tone, which result was the bigger deal?
I think most people are going to say it's Philadelphia beating Boston. They beat Boston in Boston by 14 points without Joel Embiid. I think people will say that. And it's such a reversal from the first game, the last game that they played with the exact same conditions, and Boston won by 32. But I'm going the other way, Mike. I'm going to say it's the Lakers beating the Rockets. I know in the first game they beat the Rockets without Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was back for this game. He had 20 points in the first quarter. He shot 6 for 7. For 20 points in the first half, rather. He shot 6 for 7. He had a lousy second half, but he had 20 in the first half, and the Lakers won anyway. I didn't think the Lakers were going to beat the Rockets without Kevin Durant. So I certainly didn't think they were going to beat the Rockets with Kevin Durant. You know, I mean, they don't have Luka Doncic, and they don't have Austin Reeves. That's 57 points. That's just gone. To me, this is a big deal, and I will give you a small little factoid that you're going to love. This is the 25th time in LeBron James's career that a team that he has been on in the playoffs has gone up 2-0. They're 24-0 in the previous time.
24-0.
So this augurs well for the Lakers.
Tony, I agree with you. I'm not going to say the Celtics, who going back now, this entire sort of regime with Tatum and Brown and this cast, I know it's evolved and changed, they throw in a clunker. And the clunker's directly related to missed three-pointers. Wildly missed three-pointers, a great volume of missed three-pointers. They do this basically every series, but they win a lot of series. Now, they didn't win it against the Knicks last year, but I'm not going there. I think they will beat Philadelphia. I don't think Philadelphia can sustain this, you know, and they're not going to have Joel Embiid out there. It doesn't sound like. So I'm going with you with the Lakers to be up 2-0 on Houston. The Rockets are the biggest disappointment through a couple of games of the playoffs. They made no adjustments defensively. They realize that Kevin Durant is coming back. He might lose some steam in the second half, which he did. You mentioned only 3 points. I don't want to blame Durant for that. Houston's got other capable players, but management failed them. They didn't go out and get a point guard after Fred VanVleet was injured for months and months. Coming into the season, they didn't go out and get a guy, you know, like Atlanta did. Go out and get a veteran point guard to help Kevin Durant. So Houston is just, I'm ready to dismiss them. Get off the stage. Good for the Lakers. Bigger deal to me, too.
Luke Kennard, 50 points in 2 games. Probably have to go back to Duke to see him do that. I know it happened in the NBA, but Duke's a better line. Let's move to baseball and the ongoing misery of the New York Mets. The Mets took a 3-0 lead against the Twins in the 3rd inning last night on a Francisco Lindor home run. Then they saw the Twins chip away at that lead in the 6th and the 7th on Nolan McClain, who had been perfect through 5. In the top of the 9th, the Twins loaded the bases on Devin Williams, got 2 runs in on a single and a bases-loaded walk, and the Mets then lost their 12th in a row. The last time they lost 12 in a row was 2002. Wilbon, is it too soon to have concerns about the Mets' season?
I'll leave the forecast of the Mets to the New Yorker, for whom the Mets were once important to. I'll leave that to you. I am thrilled. I'm thrilled to be here in New York, and I'm always thrilled to be here in New York. I'm even happier that the Mets are a miserable pile of goo while I'm here in New York, and I can hear and see all the hand-wringing and hear all the whining. It's great that they spent this much money, because since 1969, when I was 10 years old that summer, I have hated the New York Mets. So I couldn't be happier. I hope the losing streak reaches 30 games, all right? They may turn it around, I don't know. But to spend this much money and get nothing for like the second time in 3 years, all the analytics applied, all the money spent, I am just wildly delirious about the Mets' misery. I'll let you take it away.
Let me unload my baggage here. The Mets were the team of my youth. That is true. I was there in 1969 when they went into first place for the first time at Shea Stadium. They went into first place for the first time in the franchise history. I loved the Mets. Past tense. Notice the past tense. By the way, in 2002, when they lost 12 in a row, you know what else happened in 2002? The Jets won, I believe, the AFC East. So that's eons ago. That's
a while ago.
Let me get right to the issue. Should you have concerns right now? You can say no, because it's 139 games to go, and a lot can happen. And you can look at their division, where the best team in their division, the Philadelphia Phillies, are just as bad as they are. The Phillies are 8-15, and the Mets are 7-16. But, and there's always a but, last year in June, The Mets had a record, middle of June, 45-24, the best in all of Major League Baseball. The best. Since then, the Mets are 45-71. That stinks. That's what we call Nats land at my house. And by the way, no team has ever lost 12 in a row in a single season and made the playoffs. 138 teams. None of them has done this. Let's take a break. Coming up, who are the best players available in tomorrow's NFL draft? We're going to ask Booger McFarland.
We'll also ask him to assess the overall quality of the draft field. Why did you drop the Mets in favor of the Nationals? I would never drop the Cubs in favor of anybody.
Well, that's you. You're you and I'm me. I am stunned that that guy is still managing the Mets today. I'm stunned.
He might not be.
The NFL draft begins tomorrow, which makes it a perfect time for a visit from our great friend, a man who will be analyzing the picks on this very network, ESPN, NFL, and college football analyst, Booger McFarland. Booger, we're going to start with this. Wilbon, who has been studying mock drafts for months, as you know, says the overall quality of this draft has been questioned. You get paid to do this. Is that how you see it? Is Wilbon right?
Yeah, Mike is kind of looking at it from the treetops like a lot of people because they kind of look at the quarterback position as the barometer if the draft is any good. If you got a lot of quarterbacks, man, it's going to be a great draft. If you only have one or two quarterbacks, maybe the draft is lacking in talent. Here's what I'll say. There's only one quarterback that's a surefire first rounder. That's Fernando Mendoza. There's not a lot of star power. You got Jeremiah Love, who's the running back from Notre Dame. You got the edge rusher from Ohio State, Arvell Reese. You got David Bailey. But as far as like the bona fide star guys that you could say, you know what, in 3 or 4 years, these guys are going to be first-team All-Pro and have Hall of Fame potential, it's not many guys like that. So I understand where Michael is coming from as he's combing through all these draft guys that he's doing, Tony.
All right, you mentioned Jeremiah Love, Booger, so let's go straight to him. You said he's the best player in the draft. And if so, how many teams can afford to pass on him? What is it that makes him so special to you?
Well, I think if you were the Raiders and you hadn't taken Ashton Genty last year, maybe you would be so inclined to take Jeremiah Love this year. But since they took the running back number 6 overall last year, they're going to take the quarterback this year. What makes him so special is this. He's 2 players in one. When you look at basketball, you want guys that are two-way players. They can play offense or defense, and they don't specialize. He is a running back and a receiver. You put him at running back, and you think about the guys like a Saquon Barkley, like Christian McCaffrey, like Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, he's that type of running back that can be explosive. You put him at receiver, he kind of looks like Jamar Chase out there at receiver, especially when he gets the ball in his hands. So you're getting 2 players in one. You're getting a guy, Mike, think about this. As you watch football, and you've been watching your Bears all these years, how many times when you watch a game have you seen a player that can go 90 yards? There are a lot of guys that break a lot of long runs, make a lot of big plays, but they always get caught. This dude, Jeremiah Love, has legitimate 90-yard speed. Think about the play, Notre Dame versus...
My boys had a shot at him, but we don't. We're going to have to do some line play, and I want to ask you about the defensive side, whether it's edge rusher, or a defensive tackle. Who are the guys that stand out to you that tomorrow, early in the draft particularly, well, will be early in the draft, we should pay the most attention to?
Well, I think it's that debate that's going to happen for the New York Jets at number 2. Do you want the bird in the hand? A guy like David Bailey, 14.5 sacks last year. He did it at Texas Tech. He did it at Stanford. We've seen him rush the passer. That's the bird in the hand. Or do you want the 2 in the bush? And that's Arvell Reese, because the potential is sky high. I'm talking about you, a guy who's 6'4", 250 pounds. Think about this, Mike. He ran faster than some wideouts at the NFL Combine, and he's 250 pounds. But he's not a refined pass rusher. So you're betting on the upside. I don't know about you. I want the bird in the hand. I'll take the thing that's for sure now. I don't count on the 2 in the bush, because as I've learned over the years, when you go out there in the bush, those 2 might just fly away. So I'm going to take the bird in the hand, and I'm going to take David Bailey. He would be my pick at number 2 if I were the Jets.
Let me just say this before we get you out of here. If it's the Jets, they'll do it wrong. They'll do it wrong. All right, last question.
You
mentioned Mendoza.
In the Jets, man.
I have no faith in the Jets. All right, you mentioned Mendoza. He's going to be the number 1 pick, we assume. Who is the next best quarterback? And people mention Ty Simpson, would you take him in the first round, or will Mendoza be the only first-round quarterback?
For me, it will be Mendoza as the only first-round quarterback. I think that there's a bunch of quarterbacks in that next group. Ty Simpson, he's only got 15 starts. And when you have a quarterback with that fewer starts, now we're talking about when you look at Anthony Richardson, players that played like that, Mitch Trubisky, guys that have few starts that didn't translate to the National Football League. Then you throw in Drew Aller from Penn State. The guy for me, and everybody's going to say I'm a homer, rightfully so, I like Garrett Nussmeier because I go back to 2024 when he was fully healthy, and he did the one thing that you have to do at the quarterback position. You have to throw the football before the receiver is open. You have to anticipate, Tony, and the best anticipatory thrower in this draft is Garrett Nussmeier. Well, people say, well, what happened in 2025? Well, guess what? LSU was terrible. He was hurt. We fired Brian Kelly, and we move on. But I think when Garrett Nussmeier was healthy, he was a quarterback that was getting first-round talk. He's not going to go in the first round this year. He may not go in the second round. But when he's picked, I think his pedigree, Doug Nussmeier, his dad, the offensive coordinator for the Saints, so you have all that coaching lineage in his background, he's going to be a really, really good quarterback. If I couldn't take Fernando Mendoza for Booger, I would take Garrett Nussmeier, and I would really feel comfortable about him being my quarterback.
Insight.
Thank you, Booger. Haven't seen you in a while.
Thank
so
you,
good
Booger.
to see you
Appreciate
back,
it, man.
So good to see you. Yes, thank you.
It's great. It's great to see you guys. Mike, you haven't grown an ounce of hair. Tony, I think you lost some.
Right on both
NFL
counts.
Draft Countdown begins tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Let's take one last break. Still to come, some wild highlights from last night's Stanley Cup playoff action.
And the Pistons have a big one tonight against Orlando.
Yeah.
I wish
You'll
we
be
could get
watching the
Jeremiah
draft,
Love.
Mike.
I wish we could, Tone. I'm excited about him.
Happy time, people. Happy 65th birthday, Jeff Hostetler. Hostetler's shining moment was as the Super Bowl winning quarterback for the New York Football Giants in January 1991 when the Giants beat Buffalo 2019 in the wide right game. Hostetler was playing because incumbent Giants quarterback Phil Simms was out with a broken foot. Hostetler started 2 regular season games and the 3 playoff games after Simms went out. Hostetler had been drafted by the Giants in the 3rd round out of West Virginia in 1984 and backed up Simms. After the Giants, Hostetler played 4 seasons for the Raiders and 1 for Washington. In all, Hostetler started 83 NFL games, mostly for the Raiders, and he went 51-32.
That's a pretty darn good record as a starter, Tony. I saw Hostetler play against Maryland and Boomer Esiason and maybe Frank Reich at least once, but I'm thinking I might have seen him at West Virginia a couple of times. That's a nice pro career he wound up having.
Yeah. Yep. Happy anniversary, Karl Malone. On this day 26 years ago, the mailman became the oldest player in NBA history. 36 years, 273 days, to score 50 points or more in a playoff game when he dropped 50 on Seattle in Game 1 of their series. Malone and John Stockton played 1 million playoff games for Utah, but never won the final one. LeBron James, now 41, is playing in his 19th postseason, tying him with Malone and Stockton for the most in league history. LeBron's first season was Malone's last season. Malone played against both LeBron and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and those 3 players spanned 57 of the NBA's 77 years of existence.
When he retired, Tony, Karl Malone invited the great David Dupree and me to come down to Louisiana and join him in retirement for hunting and fishing. And then he added the line that sort of prevented that trip when he said, listen, can't wait to have you guys bring some clothes you can get some blood on. Karl, thank you very much. We're going to just sort of pass on that one.
We'll pass on that. Happy trails to a pane of glass in the Kings-Avs game. A penalty shot saved by Avalanche goalie Scott Wedgwood in the second period of last night's game led a Colorado fan to pound the glass behind the Kings bench. The pane then shattered and poured down on Kings coach DJ Smith. Smith was okay, but the game was stopped for 19 minutes. The fan was moved, but not found to have done anything worthy of ejection. The Avalanche won in OT to take a 2-0 series lead. In other games last night, the Golden Knights lost in regulation for the first time under Torts. The Bruins beat the Sabres, and the Lightning even their series with the Canadiens in a game that featured a huge right hook from Brandon Hagel to the jaw of Yuri Slavkovsky, with Hagel then giving the night-night gesture from the penalty box.
No, you can't go night-night. The guy was up at the count of like 1.5. Just let it go.
You don't see the glass do that. That's very odd to see, by the way. Let's go to the big finish. Let's stay with hockey. Ducks-Oilers game 2 tonight. Do you like the Oilers again?
No, the Oilers can never do anything the easy way. No, that series is going to be tied at 1 most likely. I'm rooting for the Oilers. Phillies put JT Realmuto on the IL with a lower back injury. Is that significant?
Yeah, he's a terrific catcher, usually a clutch hitter, and they've lost 7 in a row. The Padres are tied with the Dodgers atop the NL West. They signed Lucas Giolito today. Can he help?
It was 10-4 with a 3-4-1 for the Red Sox last year. I would hope so. Dodgers-Padres, best rivalry in baseball now. Best. Shohei is on the mound against the Giants tonight. Are you intrigued?
Of course I'm intrigued, but the game, why can't that game start at 6:45 in the East instead of 9:45 or 10? Come on. Last one, Magic Pistons, Suns Thunder tonight. Who you got?
The Pistons will bounce back, and the Thunder, I believe, will stay undefeated despite the peskiness of the Suns.
I'd go with both of them. We are out of time. We will try to do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. We're bumped by the draft until Monday, knuckleheads. And now, Kenny, Charles, Shaq, and Ernie, NBA tip-off.
Changing your life. You love the draft.